Welcome to the deep dive. Whether you're walking, driving, or maybe just relaxing on the sofa.
Get ready to flex those vocabulary muscles.
Yeah, exactly. Because today we are exploring a transcript from an easy English learning channel that is entirely focused on the vocabulary of exercise and fitness.
Right. But our mission today isn't just to, rattle off a bunch of dictionary definitions.
No, not at all. We want to unpack the exact language you need to confidently describe your physical routines, your gym habits, and really the whole mindset of health in English.
Because the words you choose, they don't just describe your routine. They actually dictate how you experience it.
Okay, let's unpack this because there's this very clear linguistic divide right out of the gate between the overarching concept of exercise and the specific reality of a workout.
Yes. And it's a divide that reveals how we kind of compartmentalize our lives. Because exercise is defined very broadly.
Right.
It just means moving your body, doing physical activity to stay healthy and strong. I mean, historically, a lot of human existence was just exercise by default.
Like farming, walking, manual labor, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But a workout is a much more modern, specific concept. It's a defined session of exercise. It's this block of time you carve out of your day, almost like a meeting you schedule with your own body.
Yeah, like you would say, my workout was 30 minutes long. Exercise is the umbrella term, but a workout is this packaged commodity.
Totally.
And that brings us to a huge grammatical trap. The noun versus the verb.
What's fascinating here is how seamlessly native speakers switch between the two without even thinking about it, even though they function entirely differently.
Right, because workout as a noun, that's one single word, it kind of objectifies the session.
Yeah, like I had a great workout today.
Mm.
It treats the physical exertion as an item, like something you can possess or complete. But as a verb, two separate words, work and out, describes the ongoing action.
I work out every day. It's the exact same sound, but one is a thing and the other is an action. And mastering when to say, I am going to work out versus that was a good workout is just, it's absolutely essential for natural conversational fluency.
It really is.
It's also fascinating how the English language frames the concept of fitness itself, because the foundational definition is simply your physical condition, right? How healthy and strong you are.
Right.
But the language splits this into two distinct phases. You have get fit and stay fit.
And those two phrases represent entirely different psychological states. Get fit implies a journey from a negative or neutral state into a positive one.
You're acquiring something you don't currently have.
Yes. Whereas stay fit implies you've reached the destination and now you just have to maintain your position.
It reminds me of home ownership. Like getting fit is like deciding to do a massive home renovation.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, you're tearing up the floorboards, you're knocking down walls, installing new plumbing. It's this huge, chaotic, transformational effort.
Right, it's exhausting.
But staying fit is just doing the weekly maintenance. You know, you're vacuuming the carpets, changing the air filters, making sure the roof doesn't leak so the whole house doesn't just fall apart.
That is a highly accurate analogy. The sheer amount of friction required for the renovation getting fit is vastly different from the energy required for the maintenance of staying fit.
Absolutely.
And when we talk about where that friction happens, we inevitably arrive at the word gym.
Yes. The gym.
Location designed specifically for this physical exertion.
Yeah.
Filled with machines, weights, treadmills.
And perhaps more importantly, the location we generate the most creative language to avoid.
So true.
The standard excuses for avoiding the gym seem almost universally built into the human condition, like it's too far away, or it's raining outside, or the classic, I am just too tired.
Language gives us an out. We construct these linguistic barriers to justify avoiding physical discomfort. But once we push past those excuses and actually begin, we have to categorize the specific types of movements we're doing. Because in English, the specific action you choose dictates the grammar you're required to use.
Yeah, you can't just say, I am doing fitness.
No, you can't.
You have to be specific about the sweat. So let's look at how these activities are categorized. At the baseline, you have walking, moving forward step by step using your legs.
Universally recommended by doctors. It's a great low-impact baseline for health. Just 30 minutes a day.
But if you want to increase the intensity, you shift the vocabulary to running, where you move your legs quickly, your breathing becomes heavy, and you're covering distances like, say, a 5-kilometer route.
And then you move into completely different environments, like swimming,
Oh, swimming.
which is categorized as a full-body workout because you're engaging your arms, your legs, your core simultaneously against the resistance of the water, all while strictly managing your breathing.
Right. Though it comes with a highly relatable, totally non-fitness downside of getting your hair wet.
Yes. Which genuinely dictates when some people choose to do it.
It's a huge logistical hurdle. And then you have cycling. The interesting linguistic distinction here is how context changes the word entirely.
Thouso.
Well, you can cycle outside in a park, which is a method of transportation and exploration, or you can cycle inside the gym on a stationary bike.
Right, a bike that literally goes nowhere.
Exactly. It's pure, distilled physical output without the journey.
Which contrasts really sharply with yoga. Yoga is framed around stretching, breathing, relaxation. But there's a cultural irony embedded in how we talk about yoga.
Yeah.
It's often marketed with vocabulary suggesting calm and ease, yet it can be incredibly demanding.
Oh, exactly. The expectation is Zen. But the reality is that on your first try, you are probably going to lose your balance and just fall right over.
Completely.
It is deceptively difficult. And finally, on the opposite end of the marketing spectrum, you have weightlifting.
No deception there.
None at all.
Yeah.
You are using heavy equipment, dumbbells, barbells, with the explicit goal of forcing your muscles to become bigger and stronger. But here is where the grammar of all these activities gets very particular. We're looking at the go plus activity rule.
Yes. When we talk about activities like running, swimming, cycling, or walking, we use the structure, I go running, or I go swimming.
So why do we naturally say, I go running and I go swimming, but we would never say, I do running?
Right.
Like if someone asked what I was up to and I said, I am doing running, it sounds completely broken to a native ear, but I am technically performing the action, right?
You are performing the action, but it comes down to the linguistic pattern of activities ending in ing.
Okay.
Running, swimming, cycling, these are gerunds, which are basically verbs functioning as nouns. In English, we typically use the verb go with these ing activities because the word going implies venturing out into the world.
Oh, I see.
You're embarking on an experience or an excursion. You aren't just performing a mechanical bodily function. You are leaving your current space to participate in a broader activity.
Right.
That's why I go running feels natural, whereas doing running feels entirely disconnected from the spatial reality of the exercise.
That makes total sense. You're venturing out. I mean, you don't venture out to lift a dumbbell, you just lift it. So you do weightlifting.
Yeah.
But you have to leave your house to go running.
Exactly.
Okay, so once you've ventured out and you know what exercise you're doing, you need the architectural language to describe how you structure it. Which brings us into the mechanics of gym jargon.
Gym routines are highly structured, and the vocabulary really acts as the scaffolding. First, you have the overarching time frames. You describe duration like how long a session lasts. My workout lasts about an hour.
The word lasts is crucial there for describing the endurance of an event.
Yes. And then you have frequency, twice a week, every day.
But inside that hour, there are distinct phases. You don't just walk into a gym and instantly start sprinting at maximum speed.
No, definitely not.
You have a warm-up. And I love the literal nature of this term. It is a physiological bridge. You use light movements, slow walking, dynamic stretching, to literally raise the temperature of the muscles and prepare the body to prevent injuries.
And symmetrically, you have the cool down at the end. Gentle stretching and deep breathing to signal to the nervous system that the stress is over, returning the heart rate to normal.
Right.
But the true architecture of the workout, like the real mechanics of the effort, is built entirely on two tiny words, rep and set.
Rep being short for repetition. One complete movement of an exercise. You push a heavy weight up, you bring it down. That is one rep.
Exactly.
And a set is a group of those reps. So 3 sets of 10 reps means you do the movement 10 times, you rest, you do it 10 more times, you rest, and then you do a final 10. That's 30 total movements. Let's look at how we structure this. If a rep is a single brick or step, is the set basically just the linguistic basket we use to carry those steps around?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that structural analogy is exactly how the human brain processes overwhelming physical tasks.
Really?
Yeah, think about it. If a trainer just pointed to a heavy barbell and said, lift that 30 times, the brain panics. The physical effort seems chaotic and impossible.
Oh, yeah. I'd walk right out.
Right. But by compartmentalizing that suffering into sets and reps, you mentally contain it. You build one small wall of 10 bricks. Then you step back, you catch your breath, and you prepare to build the next wall. The vocabulary of sets and reps actually structures our psychological reality. It makes massive physical exertion digestible.
Wow. The language is a tool that makes the suffering manageable.
Precisely.
And often the person enforcing that structure is the personal trainer, someone who guides you, teaches the mechanics, and acts as this strict external motivator. They're the ones yelling, 5 more reps, don't stop.
Yeah, they are the external enforcers of your own goals. But that highly structured and forced physical effort inevitably leads to a biological toll. The body keeps the score. And that brings us to the vocabulary of the aftermath, how the body reacts and transforms once the workout is actually over.
And the vocabulary we use for the aftermath covers a massive spectrum of sensations. Let's start with the fatigue scale. There is a distinct difference between feeling tired and feeling exhausted.
It's an issue of scale and depletion. Tired is the standard baseline after effort. You lack energy, your body is asking for rest. It's a very common, manageable state.
Sure.
But exhausted implies complete and total depletion. It means the tank is entirely empty. If you run for an hour at a fast pace, you aren't just tired, you are physically and neurologically exhausted.
And in modern fitness culture, being exhausted is almost worn as a badge of honor.
It really is.
But it's not all fatigue. People also describe feeling energized post-workout, which sounds contradictory, but it just means feeling awake, alive, and mentally sharp, even if the muscles are tired.
Exactly.
And then there's the feeling of being proud, that psychological reward of achieving something difficult that you originally made excuses to avoid.
Alongside those emotional states, we use very specific biological terminology to describe what is actually happening under the skin. We talk about burning calories.
Which is such a fascinating linguistic choice. We use the terminology of a combustion engine.
Right.
Like we don't say we use calories or process calories. We burn them, framing the human body as a furnace and food as the fuel.
The English language heavily favors mechanical and industrial metaphors for the human body. We also talk about building muscle. We don't say we grow muscle like a plant in a garden.
Oh, that's true.
We build it, framing fitness as a construction project where you are the architect. We also talk about stretching for flexibility, training the joints and muscles to move freely without pain. And we talk about building stamina.
Stamina being the measure of endurance. How long you can sustain an effort without getting tired. And inevitably, the vocabulary of losing weight becoming physically lighter.
Yes.
Though any good fitness philosophy emphasizes that the ultimate goal should be health, energy, and stamina, rather than just the number on a scale.
But the pursuit of all these biological changes, building muscle, burning calories, increasing stamina, often brings us face to face with one of the most famous cultural idioms in fitness.
Yeah.
No pain, no gain.
Right. The basic premise is that without difficulty, there is no improvement.
Exactly.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting, because I have to push back on this phrase based on the text. Isn't no pain, no gain essentially a toxic linguistic trap?
How do you mean?
It feels like it trains people to ignore their body's warning signals under the guise of fitness. Like, if my knee feels like it's exploding on a treadmill, I shouldn't just keep going because I want to make a gain, right? Doesn't this phrase promote actual injury?
That is a highly valid critique, and it requires a very careful distinction in the vocabulary. When fitness professionals or experienced athletes use the phrase no pain, no gain, they are not referring to the sharp, acute pain of an exploding knee or a torn ligament.
Okay, good.
They are specifically linking that phrase to the vocabulary word sore.
Ah, soreness.
Yes. Soreness is defined as a dull, mild muscle ache that occurs after exertion. It is the physical sensation of micro tears in the muscle tissue healing and adapting. The idiom no pain, no gain is referring strictly to that specific micro improvement.
Right.
But it is culturally significant because it highlights how deeply the English language, influenced perhaps by, the Protestant work ethic, links the concept of struggle directly to the concept of reward. You have to endure the discomfort of adaptation to earn the strength.
You have to pay the toll. The struggle is the price of admission for the physical transformation. And because that physical aftermath includes soreness and fatigue, the final necessary piece of this vocabulary isn't physical at all.
No, it's not.
It's psychological. We need the specific words required to overcome the very human urge to just quit.
The psychology of sweat. And this internal battle often begins the exact moment you wake up when you are confronted with the snooze button on your alarm clock.
Oh, hitting the snooze button. Choosing to press a button to buy yourself 9 more minutes of sleep instead of getting up to go to the gym?
It is the ultimate daily test of willpower.
It really is. It is the moment where your intentions collide with your fatigue.
And to win that collision, you need linguistic motivation. Whether you are talking to yourself in the mirror or encouraging a friend at the gym, the phrases we use matter. Simple imperatives like keep going, which demands continuation in the face of friction.
Or don't give up, which directly addresses and rejects the desire to quit.
Exactly.
But the most powerful phrase in this entire psychological toolkit is arguably the most informal one. You've got this.
Oh, absolutely.
It's incredibly popular in modern English. It translates roughly to you have the ability or I believe in you. But look at the literal mechanics of the phrase. You have got this. This is the abstract burden of the moment, the final heavy rep, the last mile of the run.
This raises an important question about how language actually functions in moments of physical crisis, because the phrase, you've got this, acts as verbal adrenaline.
Verbal adrenaline.
Yeah. When you say to someone who is struggling, it is an auditory transfer of belief. When a person's physical energy is completely depleted and their brain is telling them to drop the weight, those 4 words from a partner can override the nervous system.
Wow.
It provides a sudden spike of psychological energy to finish the task.
It shifts the burden from impossible to possible. And for internal, long-term motivation, we use the vocabulary of a fitness goal, a specific, measurable target you want to achieve, like running a certain distance or hitting 10,000 steps a day.
Which culminates in the concept of making progress. Progress is defined as improvement happening slowly, incrementally, step by step. It is the opposite of overnight success.
The classic phrasing is, every day I make a little progress. And there is a brilliant parallel to draw here from the source material, because the persistence required to make physical progress at the gym is the exact same persistence required for language acquisition.
It's an identical mechanism. Whether you are trying to increase your stamina on a stationary bite, or trying to master the nuance between work out the noun and work out the verb, you cannot achieve it through one massive, exhausting effort.
Right.
You achieve it by showing up consistently and making a little progress every single day. The brain adapts to complex grammar the same way the muscle adapts to heavy weights.
It's all just a matter of reps and sets.
Precisely.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today. We started with those foundational building blocks, examining how a culture views movement through the lens of a scheduled workout and the psychological difference between the renovation of getting fit and the maintenance of staying fit.
And we analyzed how we categorize the sweat, exploring why we venture out to go running and go cycling, and contrasted the calm marketing of yoga with its grueling physical reality.
We broke down the architecture of a gym session, looking at how warm-ups act as physiological bridges, and how the vocabulary of reps and sets acts as linguistic scaffolding to make physical suffering manageable.
Yeah, and we navigated the aftermath, distinguishing between being tired and completely exhausted, and explored the industrial metaphors of burning calories and building muscle.
We challenged the potentially toxic nature of no pain, no gain, clarifying the difference between injury and the necessary soreness of adaptation. And finally, we unpacked the psychology of sweat, the battle with the snooze button, the verbal adrenaline of you've got this, and the quiet, daily pursuit of progress.
That's a lot of vocabulary.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Why should you care about the nuances of this vocabulary? Because mastering these words doesn't just help you pass an English test or chat with a friend about your weekend run. It gives you the specific tools to clearly articulate your own personal health boundaries and ambitions.
It equips you with the linguistic toolkit to command your physical routine rather than just enduring it.
Exactly. But before we sign off today, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over on your own time. We've spent this entire deep dive discussing how words describe our physical actions. But consider this. If we consciously change the vocabulary we use to describe our routines, if we actively shift away from the heavy, punitive obligation of saying, I need to lose weight, and instead start framing it as, I want to build stamina and feel energized, does the language itself actually alter how our bodies physically experience the stress of the workout?
Does a change in the vocabulary physically alter the chemistry of the sweat? That is a truly fascinating concept to explore.
It is. The words we use build the reality we inhabit. Something to think about the next time you go for a walk or hop on that stationary bike. Keep flexing those vocabulary muscles. Keep making that little bit of progress every day. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.